All right, welcome. You guys made it to Friday. We are on lesson 95, two-step problems about a fraction of a group. Again, if you want to just follow along with me on the screen, you can, or if you have your math book and you want to follow along in your actual book, you can do that as well. We'll be going through a few examples and then some of the lesson practice, okay? So we are going to start with example number 1. First thing we need to do, obviously, is read the question and then figure out what we're trying to find. Okay, so there were 30 campers in the state park. 2/3 of them wore green jackets. How many campers wore green jackets? Okay, so in any one of these problems, the first thing you need to do is figure out the bottom number of the fraction, 2/3, so the bottom number is 3, and that's what you're going to be dividing by. Okay, we've done problems with this before, right? If the question said something like there were 30 campers in the state park, 1/3 of them wore green jackets. How many campers wore green jackets? You'd be able to solve that. We've done problems like that before. Okay, but this one's a little bit different. It says 2/3 of them wore green jackets. So we know, I'm just going to draw a picture over here. We know a circle, if it's divided into 3 parts, we know that 2/3 looks like this, right? 1, 2. So we know that each one of those pieces is 1/3, right? This is 1/3, this is 1/3, and then our other piece that's white is also 1/3. So we are going to divide 30, the number 30, into thirds, okay? And then we're going to take 2 of those pieces. All right, which I am sure you can see the answer right there. You can see how they divided it, but we're going to just go ahead and do it. So we are going to divide the number 30 into thirds, which is 30 divided by 3. So 30 divided by 3, that's one of our facts. We know that. It's 10. That means each one of these pieces, so this red piece up here, that's 10 campers, right? The white piece is 10 campers, and this blue piece is 10 campers. So it's asking us how many campers wore green jackets? Well, 2/3 of them wore green jackets. So how many is 2/3? Well, that means we're going to add 10 plus 10, which is 20. So 2/3 of them is 20. Okay, so it's kind of a two-step problem, kind of like what we did yesterday, because first you need to find out how many 1/3 is, and then you need to figure out, okay, if 1/3, well, 1/3 plus 1/3 is 2/3, so I'm going to add 10 plus 10. Okay, now we're going to go down to example number 2. We're going to do something very similar, but instead of thirds, we're going to be talking about fifths. Okay, so let me show you. It's the same concept. Let's read this one. The force of gravity on Mars is about 2/5 the force of gravity on Earth. A rock brought back to Earth from Mars weighs 50 pounds. How much did the rock weigh on Mars? Okay, so basically this problem is a little bit of math and science together, right? So Mars, it would weigh less on Mars. It weighs 2/5 what it would weigh on Earth. So if it weighs 50 pounds on Earth, then how much does it weigh on Mars? It's going to be less than 50, right? 2/5 of 50. So instead of figuring out what 2/5 is, we need to figure out what 1/5 is, and then we can do 1/5 plus 1/5 equals 2/5. So the way that we're going to do that, we are going to take 50, and we're going to divide it by 5, because we're going to divide it into fifths, right? We're going to find 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5. So 5 goes into 50 how many times? It's one of our facts. 10 times. So that means 1/5 equals 10 pounds. And another 1/5 equals 10 pounds. And another 1/5 equals 10 pounds, right? All the way down to where you have 5 of them, because 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 is 50. Okay? So 2/5, well, this is 1/5, and this is another 1/5. 1 plus 1 is 2, so that's 2/5. So 1 plus 1 is 2, 2/5. Okay, so then we do 10 plus 10. 10 plus 10 is what? 20. So our answer is 20 pounds. Okay. If you have the book in front of you, you can go to the next page and you can kind of see how they broke that up. The answer is 20 pounds. Okay. All right, we're going to do two more. We're halfway done. And this really is going to help you, I promise, especially the next two. They will really help you on your homework today. Okay. So we are going to do A and B. That's what we're going to do today. Okay. So 3/4 of the 24 checkers are still on the board, or were still on the board. How many checkers were still on the board? All right. Well, remember, we're kind of just want to show you what we're doing. So we're talking about 3/4. That means 1, 2, 3/4, right? So 3/4 of the 24 checkers. So if we had 24 checkers, we're trying to break it into fourths. So we would divide by 4 in order to do that. 4 can go into 24. How many times is one of your facts? 6. Okay, so that means each one of these pieces right here, this piece is 6. That means this piece is 6. That makes sense, right? 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 24. Okay, so our job is to find 3/4. So that means we can do 6 plus 6 plus 6, or 6 times 3, which is 18. So our answer is 18 checkers were still on the board. Okay, 3/4 were still on the board. 3/4 of 24 is 18. All right, and then the very last problem that we're going to do together is B. 2/5 of the 30 students studied more than 1 hour for a test. I'm sure that would be you guys. 2/5 of the 30 students studied more than 1 hour for a test. How many students studied for more than 1 hour? How many students studied for more than 1 hour? Okay, 2/5 of 30. You might also see a problem that looks like this. 2/5 of 30. Okay, so again, we're going to do the same thing. We have 30 here, and then we are dividing it into fifths. So we're going to divide by 5. Okay, 5 goes into 30 how many times? Again, it's one of your facts. The answer is 6. Okay, so that is 1/5 is 6 students, but we don't want 1/5, right? We want 2/5. So we're going to do 6 plus 6, or 6 times 2, which is 12. So 12 students studied for more than 1 hour. I hope you're one of the 12. All right, you are going to now on the module in math where it says Friday, since today is Friday, you're going to say, all right, well, I'm going to do lesson 95, the problems for Friday. There are only 10 of those questions. Again, if you've done the other ones before, you know that you can take this, do the homework as many times as you want. It's multiple choice. It will tell you which ones are wrong if you miss one, and you can go back and take the whole thing again. Okay, so if you miss a lot of them the first time, but you think you got it by the end, go back and take it again, and it will improve your score. We'll take the highest score. So if you miss all of them the first time, but you get them all right the second time, we'll give you that score. Okay, so you can go watch this video again if you did not understand this part. This is tricky. So if you need to watch this video again, you can. And then good luck on the homework. Have a good weekend. We'll see you guys sometime. Bye.